the earliest art, which we know, which we call cave paintings, they date back between 30 and 10,000 years BC. Even those people tried to brighten up their cave with a bit of art. So in many ways, they were more advanced than you.
Yeah, but they didn't have a big mirror. I mean, if you're living in a cave, let's face it, you're not going to go mad if your kids start drawing, doodling on the cave wall, are you? Doesn't matter.
Right.
Brighten it up. But they always did the same thing. It was always a yak, wasn't it?
Well,
it was always a yak.
Yeah, but they drew what they saw. I mean, yeah, I love the fact that 30,000 years ago they're being criticised for being a bit literal.
No, but surely, if all you ever see when you step out the cave is a yak, do something different on the wall for when you get in.
What?
Why is it always a yak on every wall?
Is it always a yak?
It's always a yak. Whenever you see these Tom Robinson Time Team programmes...
Who's Tom Robinson?
He's the guy who did Motorway, isn't he?
Yeah, and a 70s singer-songwriter. Tony Robinson, you mean?
Tony Robinson, whenever you see him digging around, they say, hold up everyone, get the brush, what's this? It's always a yak. Yeah, they pretend they're interested.
So you're saying that you wouldn't have, you'd have been no, I'm not going to draw a yak, I just saw a yak outside.
This is what I'm saying to you about trends. One person has it, the next caveman goes, I'll have one of them on my wall. I'll do a yak. Why was there no one just doing something a bit different?
Well, it's not true. They did. It's not true. This thing about his yak.
It's just in your own head.
The programmes I've seen, I've been to Pompeii, where they had doodling on the walls, and that was all like knobs, tits and arse, all over the shop. Now, do that now, people go, that's a disgrace, rub that out, clean that, get it down. Whereas now, if you see one in Pompeii, they go, oh, look at that, look at the detail on that. Well, yeah. That's what I'm saying, there's snobbery in art. It's the same knob. The knob has not changed.
Yeah, but I imagine in 50,000 years' time, if they dig up, a cubicle and there's tits and arse, people will take pictures of it again.
Won't be. This is the interesting thing with the way we live now. We're cleaning stuff up constantly now. There's no almost no record of our time because we're getting rid of everything. We clean everything up. Everything's clean. Getting rid of rubbish, recycling everything.
Well, that's a very good point. Is graffiti a valid art form?
Some of it is.
I think it is, yeah. I mean, we're not talking about the classic spunking dick, which is still, I mean, it's still great, isn't it?
Well, I mean, if
you see a lovely clean white wall and you see a spunking dick on it, you're gonna laugh.
Always laugh. Do you add hair to the testicles when drawing a spunking dick?
A few. The testicles.
Because it's always clean. My testicles are always clean.
Really?
Yeah.
I put the 4 or 5 bristles sticking out straight.
See, I always thought that was a kind of commoner version.
It looks like mine looks like I don't mean my real one. I mean my
your illustrative.
Yeah. It looks like 2 gooseberries and Thunderbird 2.
Do you add much detail at the tip of the penis?
No, it's a straightforward. It's dissecting across, just a line across to show the helmet.
Yeah.
Then one little line for the eye.
Do you tend to keep the same number of droplets coming out? Droplets.
I do 3, but I don't do the line. I actually do the little teardrop.
The little teardrop droplets.
Yeah. And that is the spunking dick. As
when I was at school, it was referred to, and this may be specific to Bristol, it was referred to as the sacred. I've just drawn a sacred.
Oh, really?
I don't know where the origin of that was.
Some graffiti is funny. I saw one in London. It just said, Rachel is a big-arsed, big-chinned cunt. Now, I think Rachel's going to see that and know, well, I'm the only big-arsed, big-chinned cunt round here. I don't know how big her chin was.
Sure.
I think of her chin maybe looking like the arse.
Yeah.
It's like the big arse like that, but maybe she couldn't see the last part of it because the chin was in the way. Rachel is and that's all she could see. Now,
where was this graffiti written?
It was in, near Centre Point.
So, do you think someone was so angry
with
Rachel?
Maybe Rachel nicked this woman's fella.
Right.
And she went out.
Yeah, and scrawled that.
Yeah.
In a lot of different places. I saw one that was something, I don't know, it was back in Bristol, it was something like, Michael Peters is gay. And I always wondered if that was Michael Peters himself, who was having trouble coming out of the closet.
Yeah.
And was just writing that in a number of different places. So that by the time he finally mentioned people, they went, oh yeah, I knew that anyway, I saw it in the toilet.
Sculptures. What do you think of sculptures? I mean, because that's something that really is getting into the 3D world there, isn't it? No longer do you have to represent something as 3D. You can make something. You know, is it? You know, the statues are amazing, aren't they?
They're clever, aren't they? I mean, they always look the same.
Well, that's not true, is it? Because recently there was quite a controversial one, a huge one, in London. The pregnant thalidomide woman. What do you think of that?
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Thoughts?
I wouldn't have it in my house.
Well, there wouldn't be room, because it would just be you, Suzanne, and a pregnant thalidomide watching telly.
I don't know what he was trying to say. It's
Maybe she was saying, okay, we've had the human form. This is an example of the human form.
yeah, but do you think she started off trying to do normal, and it was like, oh, I've chipped a bit off?
One of the arms got chipped
Well,
off.
it makes you wonder, doesn't it? And why? You see that square, Trafalgar Square. You've got that. Nelson's column. He's got one arm and a leg missing or something, and a patch over his eye. Then you've got the thalidomide. Why can't they just do a full person?
Well, that was what they saw. That was what the artist saw.
It's about confronting us with certain preconceptions of what we expect of the human form, what we expect of sculpture. It's probably a little ironic comment as well on the famous Rodin. It's wrapped up with all kinds of ideas of maternity, of the human form, of what sculpture is. Why wouldn't you put that in a big public place?
What about the subject? Did you think who's that subject? Who is that woman?
No, not really, because thalidomides are around, and we've all seen one. It's not like a shocking image. It's one of life's little things that it chucks out. There's some out there, so
Amazing.
it's not
Amazing.
shocking, is it? I don't understand what you mean. I think what I thought is it just goes to show we're sort of running out of ideas.
What do you think of people who are so angry at art they try and censor it or they try and destroy it? Do you think art should ever be censored?
It's where you put it. If it's in a gallery, then it doesn't have to be censored. If it's in Trafalgar Square, where everyone's wandering around having a nice time, you don't want a 12-foot cock. So it's all about where you put it. I think some art looks better because of where it is. Angel of the North, that's a bit of art, but it's a bit of a surprise, isn't it? You're driving along a miserable motorway.
Yeah.
Oh, what's that over there? Gives you something for your eyes to look at again. Motorways are the most boring place to drive. But you go, look, there's a bit of art over there.
Yeah, but
Stick that
then
Angel
again,
of the
should you be
North.
looking at art when you're going at 70 miles an hour along a motorway?
Well, yeah, because it's really big. You can keep your eye on it and
Look in the mirror.
it's not a problem.
Wait till you go past it and look in the mirror like normal.
So you like the Angel of the North,
Because it's something in the middle of nothing.
right? But if you put it somewhere else,
Stick it in Trafalgar Square, you'd go, oh, more clutter.
now you've spoken, Carl, about art and what impact does it have, blah blah blah. And as Ricky's just pointed out, of course, in some instances, art has been considered incredibly controversial, very provocative, and has been banned. Famously, one thinks of the Nazis banning and burning certain books, not all of which were just books, criticising them. It was often artistic works, things which they felt were subversive in some sense, and you get that in many repressive regimes where people's artistic work is not allowed to express the way they feel about something. Stalinist Russia, for instance, art there, literature, are not able to express its views because people see it as dangerous, as provocative.
Well, yeah, the threat always comes from scholars, with like any dictatorship, and they know that.
But not just scholars writing, scholarly texts, criticisms, but also people expressing themselves through poetry, through creativity.
Well, yeah,
things which are not
expression's
direct.
dangerous, yeah.
They can be abstract, and yet they can still be subversive.
Yeah, but I think if it's done in a way that isn't just like a lunatic, they get away with it. Like a nice poem, some people would read it in a different light. I might read it and go, I don't even know what they're going on about there. So, as long as it's done clever, get away with it, don't they? So
Well,
it
no,
makes the
often not
artist
the
better.
case. But that's not often not the case,
Well,
that's what I'm saying. Often, in these regimes, these things are repressed.
No, but there's always like code words and that you can use and they can't have you on it.
Such as?
I don't know. I'm not into that sort of work.
Right,
Well-
so you've just made a statement there, but it's not backed up with any actual information.
No, what if you
Well,
do
there
it
was
in
a good
clever
point
way?
there. No, there was a very good point there. The McCarthy era, where he was threatened by communism infiltrating the country, and he thought that entertainers might be a part of that, the conspiracy. It was a hotbed, and he made everyone come forward, writers, actors, say they're not a communist, and some people were out in the cold, and so people had to be a bit cleverer, like was it Arthur Miller, The
Arthur
Crucible? It's a metaphor. It's about witch hunts, but it's about the McCarthyism. So yes, good point. You can put coded messages
CB
into
radio
art.
was the same thing.
Go on.
Well, it's all the codes. As long as you've got
Okay, well, I
codes.
thought you had I mean, I was trying to make your point sort of more valid than it obviously
No,
was.
but if you need to refer to CB radio, that's the obvious.
Well,
the
that's
obvious
what I
system,
can
really.
relate to.
Sure.
Yeah, we've done this. There's no point in CB radio. They go, how many candles are you burning? What? How old are you? 8. Okay, yeah. I mean, there's no point to those codes at all. You know.
So this is in no way relatable to The Crucible. Why would you be talking about one of the most respected plays of the 20th century, and suddenly this, in your head, reminds you of CB radio?
Just having this code going on that only certain people know how to break.
Everyone knew it.
No, it's
pointless.
Not back then. They didn't,
Pointless.
because she said it was moving
What,
about
specifically just the head? She just crossed the head.
with a stone.
She got a tiny head-shaped stone and
Squashed it, because that's where all the action is, isn't it? So she said it was too cruel watching it sort of shaking about with its one leg and stuff. You had to kill it.
I imagine I had this vision that one day Suzanne just having to say to his parents,
I've sorted it.
I sorted it. I had to put him out of his misery.
What?
I just couldn't bear to see the
You don't
twitching
like to know,
anymore.
do you?
No, you didn't like to know, but
No.
I just took a rock.
Yeah, and just squashed its head. What was in it? There was nothing. Nothing in it. It just caved in.
Was there an egg in it from a
No.
from a
No, it was
monster?
like you know when you will get a blown egg and then you crush it and it's just there was nothing. Yeah, nothing in it at all. Nothing in it
But I
at
just
all.
think he seems happier. I'm certainly happier.
I was happier because I'm much happier because he's sort of he's more sensible without the head.
Yeah, we're still happy together, but now we use the dishwasher instead of him washing up.
Yeah.
When we've already got one that costs £400. What metaphor are you taking from this?
Just the way.
Yeah, so that's at the beginning. There was going to be a point you were going to extrapolate for this, like a fable. So what did you learn from that?
I thought I was doing right at the time, and
Well, that's it,
that's
isn't it?
important, isn't it?
And is it objective or subjective? You know, one person's evil is another person's good. Some people think abortion is the worst thing you could do. Others think it's a woman's right, and it's a kindness. Some people think that you should never kill under any circumstances. Other people say that some killing is morally right. Again, should an action be judged on its intent or its result? If someone said to you, "Oh, I thought I was doing a good thing," but, you know, they opened the windows and your cat fell out. They thought they didn't even know you had a cat.
Did they knock it though, or did it just jump out?
It just jumped out.
Well, I'd say it's not my fault. Your
No.
cat's daft.
No.
It was hot in here. I've
Right.
opened the window.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not getting the blame for that.
No, that wasn't my point, was it? That if you open the window, right, and they come home and you go, "Oh my God, the cat jumped out and killed itself," you go, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I opened the window because I wanted to let some air in. I was doing a good thing."
So did I know it jumped out?
No.
I'd probably say, you sure they didn't do that before I got here this morning? Did you have the window open?
Right.
I don't think looks like it's been there a while.
So
That's a bit
already
hard.
you instantly don't want to be culpable for your own actions.
I mean, it is
Hang
your
on a
fault.
minute, it wasn't me who did it.
It is your fault the cat's dead.
yeah, it's an accident, but nevertheless, it's still your
Oh,
fault.
if it's definitely me, yeah, I'd say, yeah, it jumped out. I opened the window because it was hot in here. The cat jumped out, it's dead. Let's go and get another one.
Right,
I wouldn't worry that much about a cat.
right. But what if it was a baby?
Well, it's a bit awkward, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose it is. Carl, I'd like to ask you, if I may, stop twiddling that. Now, this is interesting, because you were fiddling with a bit of plastic there, and it was annoying me, and I know that a lot of things annoy Ricky, it was very infuriating for him. Social etiquette. Now, that's a very, that's not obviously inscribed by law. These are just things which have built up in society. So, for instance, it's impolite to sneeze and then shake someone's hand.
Yeah.
It's
Or sneeze straight in their face and go, oh, sorry, I've got swine flu.
Now, those things are obviously good practice in terms of avoiding the spread of disease, so that makes sense. But other things
Also,
are
it just
more
might just be
arbitrary.
disgusting. If someone hasn't got a disease, I don't like to see someone sneeze on the pavement or sniff or scratch their arse.
So social etiquette, I mean, how do you decide, I mean, what prevents you from being truthful and honest at all times?
I don't know, there's something in you, and sometimes you can just pop it out, can't you? I've been in a situation when I've said stuff and I've thought, why did I say that?
Go on.
But it's not always... in the dentist. Last time I went to the dentist, I was sat in the reception bit, big fat woman comes up the stairs, massive she was, had a right sweat on.
Right.
She gets there, and...
Out of breath.
yeah, she was, again, you know, I mean, she was friendly, dead friendly, but kind of like, you know, leggings on, sort of, you know, shoes but not on properly. She was stood on the heel,
Yeah,
you know, like she couldn't be bothered.
Yeah.
It's like greasy hair, and she went up and she's been all happy and everything. And I think that's what annoyed me. So when she sort of said, oh yeah, I've lost weight, she was talking to the woman behind the counter. And she sort of said, yeah, I find it really difficult, especially living where I live and having to come down this high street because there's so many cake shops and everything. And she sort of said, you know, today I've walked past, normally I always have a coffee and a donut, but today, you know, I didn't have a coffee and a donut. And I just said, why was it shut? Right?
No, you didn't.
I did, honestly. Honest to God, on my mum's life. I said, why was it shut? She said, oh,
Hold
you
on,
know.
why did you butt in? She wasn't even talking
Honestly,
to
I
you.
know, it's really, really weird. It's really
Did you have
weird.
to shout across the dentist waiting room, or were you
No,
stood
it was
next to
just, it's a small waiting room, so you got the stairs, you go in, you got about 4 chairs, and then this old desk, and I get on with the woman behind the counter, and I always sit close to it, and it was just me there, and I was talking to her about going to Corfu or something. She comes in sweating like some bison up the stairs, and she's there, and because she was showing off, and it was like, well, you should have done it a long time ago. I think she annoyed me that she wanted some sort of pat on a big hefty fat back. That she hadn't bothered having a donut that day. Now, maybe it's the inner me that just came out, because I remember saying it and actually getting home saying to Suzanne, oh, I said this and I didn't even think I don't know
I know
where
what
it
you mean
came
though.
from.
Sometimes you want to go around with people and they're going, oh, I need, you want to put them down. You want to
Yeah.
go, I'm stocking out with you because you're going to go straight back to that and do this, that. You know, I know you've had a lot. Just inject them in the head. Absolutely pointless. Get rid of it. Yeah, I know what you mean. But talking about social etiquette, I was in a, flying to, Edinburgh, and I was with, Matt, my, assistant, and, there was a bloke on a mobile phone across the way, right? He's going, yeah, I'm just going to get on the plane now. And he kept talking that loudly to people, right? And I was fuming. Then he stopped and made another call, and I was giving him dirty looks, and Matt was going, no, sit down, son. And then he was going, in the airport, and I shouted, he's in the airport! He didn't notice. I was shouting over. I was fuming, and Matt was just getting so embarrassed.
But they don't see it though.
And people were looking at me like I was the mental case.
Yeah.
But it was so fucking loud, and I moved through to another place. But I wanted to get someone. I wanted to be policed. I want to go, right, there's a cunt over there swigging beer, thinks he's a fucking Gordon Gekko player, and he's not. He's some cunt who's got his first mobile phone. Right? But what, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is infringing. That's like passive smoking to me.
Yeah.
It annoys me when you hear these awful middle-class parents talking to their kid loudly enough to let everyone know what their kid knows. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They bring up conversations because they're showing off about the kid. Toby, what's that you were saying earlier about you preferred Beethoven to... Right, okay, if that kid talks about Beethoven and Chopin, right? Do you know what I mean, though?
Yeah.
It's like people showing off,
Yeah.
thinking that the world is interested in everything they fucking say. That thing about everyone's got access, which is fine, but it's those fat fucking morons on docu-soaps that go, I speak as I fucking think, you useless fucking blob of shit.
Yes. Have an education, research, think, discuss, then offer your opinion.
And stop your kids chewing on a fucking big ball of fat. Your leg.
Got someone specific in mind there?
Oh. Well, that's about it. Hope you enjoyed the Ricky Gervais Guide to Society. I think we've sorted everything out there, Steve.
Yeah, not many questions left unanswered.
No, that's a pretty in-depth analysis of what society is and how to improve it, I think, in many ways.
Let's hope some of the big people are listening. Brown, Obama.
And they go, okay, what's Pilkington to say? Keep out of it. Unless it's an insect. So it's goodbye from me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant.
Goodbye.
And from the little round-headed simian type thing we call Karl Pilkington.
Okay, well, can I ask a question? Because, sorry, what I'm fascinated to know is, if you decided to sign up to the float tank idea, okay, you can design your perfect life.
But I prefer not to know I'm doing it.
No, you
won't
won't. But I want to ask this question. Imagine Ricky and I are the doctors, okay? We can put you in this tank. All we need to know from you now is what your perfect life is. And we're going to program it in the computer. You're going to wake up tomorrow. You won't know this conversation's happened. You'll have the perfect life. What, if you don't mind, we're going to take notes now. What is the perfect life? You're still obviously living with Suzanne.
We've got
but
munches.
What else?
We've got munches and we've got the sunshine.
But what else would you like in your magical life your ultimate life?
I think I prefer...
Hair?
No, because then I'd know it's not real.
No, you would
wouldn't
never know.
It just came back. Suzanne comes in one day and goes, why aren't you working? She goes, look, okay, I've left my job. Can we leave why am I at work? I'm always going to be here, right? I've got a new tonic, right, from Boots. She pops it on your hair. Boop, baby gorilla.
Yeah, I don't like this idea. Suddenly Suzanne's never at work. I just think you need a bit of the badness to have the goodness.
Right.
In a minute, you're going to be injected in the head, you're going to go to sleep, you're going to be in a floating state, but you are going to suddenly leave this office and it's going to be a virtual world. You can do what you want. You can suddenly go, what was I hanging around with that bloke off the office for? I'm a spy. And you go to MI5 and they go, thanks for coming in, Pilkington. Listen, Drosky, he's coming from Russia and he's got the bang. What do you do? What's your scenario? What do you do as a job? We've got munches. Suzanne's never at work.
I prefer to leave everything as it is.
Brilliant.
Go in it, but have everything the same so that I'm going, hang on a minute, has it actually happened?
What are you talking about?
No, you don't know about this. You don't know anything that's happened.
No, because you've just said you're gonna put me in the tank and you're asking questions as to what I want when I get in it.
But you won't know you're in the tank.
Once you're in the tank, you won't know. You'll have a new life, a life that you've designed.
Yes.
You'd have different memories if you wanted. You could be 5 again, or you could be now, but you weren't born in Manchester.
I prefer it to be the same, with the same memories, but the difference is, when I next get British Gas round, they go, "Hi, Mr. Pilkington, yes, the boiler is fixed."
So he's like to have a virtual life, so his boiler's fixed!
No,
so your boiler still goes wrong in your dream, but it gets fixed.
But you don't even need a boiler! You could be the perfect temperature all the
But
time.
Earth anymore. I don't like the idea of too much change. I don't want that much of a change.
But you won't realise, it won't feel like change.
Well, it's changed already. You're saying the boiler's been fixed like that. I prefer to still have that problem, go, hang on a minute, is this different? Suzanne's still going to work.
Right.
That's very important too.
But then,
you don't want her around all day.
but then, things happen that wouldn't have happened in this world.
Right, okay, let's write that. Well, let's see the differences. What do you do? Because I've got to program this. So you've got the same job, all that. Are we still around?
Yeah, because it's part of.
I'm going to ask you a question now. Do I still squeeze your head every time I see you, rest you to the ground, and wind you up, trying to stress you out, call you at all hours? Do I still do all that? What am I like?
You're still the same, and you still do that, but maybe one day I go, don't do that anymore because it does annoy me, and you go, okay. And then I've dealt with it. I've sorted that problem, as opposed to this machine, this tank deciding.
Right.
I don't like the idea of this tank making life good for me.
Right.
I want a few problems, and if there's a problem, I want to sort it.
Okay.
But
well, you've hit the nail on the head there. We're going to go back to this because it's fascinating. But Nozak concluded that no one would get into the tank because we'd rather have a real life with all its problems than a fake life. And I sort of think you've proved that by even getting into the tank with your provisos and scenarios. I mean, you've changed nothing except your boiler being fixed and me stop squeezing your head now and again, which makes me think that you should have your boiler fixed. and then you will have the perfect life that you can imagine.
Yeah, but it's that old chestnut, isn't it? It's the thing of, like, what's my problem then? You've got the
Right.
problem gene in your head. You've got to fill it with a problem.
Yeah, he's not a geneticist.
Got the problem hole in your head.
No, it's
Got
not.
a problem hole in your head. Shut up, Ricky. Let him say what he needs to say. He's got
said
a problem
it.
hole in his head.
He's got a problem hole in his head. It's called his mouth.
Yes.
Right, that is your problem hole.
So, if someone comes up and they go, I've fixed your boiler.
Sorry, could I just ask...
No, let him speak.
Let me ask one question, Steve. Is the problem hole different from the problem gene, or is that a new term for...
No, you put things through the problem hole and they end up in the problem gene. You feed something in the problem hole.
Is that right, Carl?
It goes through the problem tube into the problem gene.
Okay, so it's down the problem conduit. Okay, go on. Right. So it's better to have... You've got a problem hole in your head, right?
Yeah. So you stuff in a problem into the problem hole.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Now, all the little problems can't get in because of the big problem.
Right. Is that good or bad? It's a
But
good
that's
thing
not
to
true,
know.
is
The
it?
problem hole is a standard size on everyone.
Right.
No, but that's
Shut
not...
up, Ricky. Let him
Now,
explain.
now, Ricky, I'd say his problems are not even problems.
Well, how big's his problem hole?
Same size as mine.
Same size as
okay.
yours.
But his problems are all little ones. They're like, you've got like a load of Skittles. I've got a big cream egg.
Right, but why...
Shut up! Let him speak. He's just expanding on his idea. Why
But
do
what
you
is
keep
his
interrupting?
problem? What is your problem that's so
Okay.
big compared to my little
Loads
Skittles?
of problems. You get stressed out about things that I'm like, what's up with you? You get annoyed easily with stuff. People chewing loudly, or someone breathing loudly, or someone coughing. Whereas I'm like, that doesn't matter. Like you say, to you, the boiler is like, get it ripped out, put a new one in. It's not as easy as that.
It is.
And that's why the problem ball is growing.
He's got a gene, a ball, and a hole.
So the problem
No
ball-
wonder there's no fucking room for a brain.
Right, shut up. Let me ask. I want to clarify this. The problem ball exists in life. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger. It has to go through the problem hole, down the problem tube, into
And
the
bounce
problem gene.
into the problem gene.
Right, now then. So you've got the problem ball. Everyone's problem hole is the same size.
Everyone's.
But some people's problems are smaller, so they can slip straight into the problem hole.
I've got a question, Stephen.
Wait.
And listen, has anyone got a pair of problem balls, or is it always just?
Can ladies have a pair of problem balls?
No, because Hitler had one problem ball, didn't he? But could anyone ever have a pair of problem balls? Is my question to you.
And some people's problem balls are much bigger than another man's or another woman's, right?
Yeah,
Right.
depending on the problem.
So you could have you could have a pair of problem balls and one problem hole.
The way I'm
If you
saying
went,
it,
okay, look,
Listen.
supposing I came to you and said, listen,
But a man starving in a foreign country, he might have huge problem balls.
he might have, but if I went to a doctor and said I've got a problem hole, and the doctor said, well, let me see it, and he said, well, let me see your problem hole, and hanging down in front of my problem hole was a huge pair of problem balls. What would he treat first? Is my question.
Well, would he look into the problem hole?
He said, he'd say, right, take your problem genes off. Right, I want to see your problem hole clearly.
But he would put his hand or his finger into the problem hole to try and remove the problem
He
ball,
would.
wouldn't he?
He could feel the problem balls, but he'd have to insert his finger into the problem hole, wouldn't he?
Right.
Okay, so Carl, go on then.
I'll just get in the tank.
Oh, God. Okay, so in a roundabout way, back to cogito ergo sum, I think therefore I am. Descartes, pondering, how do I know this isn't a dream? Well, he concluded he doesn't. When he took it further to, how do I know I even exist? He quite rightly concluded that, well, if I'm even pondering this question, I must exist. Whatever I am, wherever I am, the fact that I'm questioning, introspecting, thinking at all, I think, therefore I am. Because I'm even thinking, at least I know one thing, that I exist. That's all he said, Carl.
I don't understand why he had so much time on his hands to be worrying about this. At the end of the day, get on with it.
You're not doing shit all, Carl. So why are you so annoyed at other people who aren't doing anything? You're going out in the morning, you're staring at worms, at bugs, you're staring at the sky, you're
You're
wondering why it
writing
hasn't fallen
books
on your
that
head.
you're making up the books. That isn't researched.
What do you mean making it?
What is it that you're doing?
One of the chapters in your book about travel was Australia. I've never been there myself. Forget it then. Throw it away.
No, because you can still have
You
thoughts
make up
on-
stuff about a grub eating a biscuit. We're all the same. Well, I mean, what is that? That's not. But I laughed.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that book.
Listen, everyone like me who
That
bought
book
that
is
book.
absolutely pointless.
It is in my lavatory. Every time I pop in there for a shit,
Yeah.
just take it off the shelf, have a little read. Great fun.
And I'm down to about 4 pages because sometimes I forget to get bog roll. But listen, that is a fun book to wipe your ass
It's
with.
a great book to
It
wipe
was
your ass
me,
with.
but that book was good for me. I don't
Yeah.
know if anyone enjoyed it, but I was emptying my worry hole. And at the end of the day,
I am problem hole.
emptying
Hold
your
on.
worry hole.
Is that different to the problem hole? Your worry hole.
it's next to it.
Once a problem ball is being processed through the hole, is it deposited through the worry hole?
All I'm saying is, you're right, I do watch a lot of insects and stuff, and you never see them wasting time. They're always doing something. An ant's carrying something somewhere. Sometimes I watch it and it goes somewhere and comes back again. You think, does it know what it's doing? But at least it's trying. Now, if there was a
What
big
is it doing though? What is that ant doing?
work, it's building a house, or
what's the point? It's everything it does is pointless.
how can you say that?
It's pointless.
I'll tell you what, if there was a bigger sort of being looking over the world and they went, right, let's look at the human race, and, well, they'd look at the ants first and they go, right, they've got their hands full, they're carrying big stuff, they try to save time by carrying stuff that's way too big for them, really. They could do that between 3 of them, but they don't. They're all grafting hard. Then they go, right, hit the human button. They hit the human button, they watch the humans. The amount of people who are just sat about doing now. They're
But hold
reading about
on.
Amy Winehouse, Lily Allen in London at 2 a.m. So what?